Welcome to Soul Conversations with Z, Healing in the Raw, where we keep it raw, real, and unfiltered. I'm Zachyra Rodriguez, a trauma specialist and marriage psychotherapist, and this is a space where we dive deep into the messy, yet beautiful and often difficult parts of life. Here we challenge ourselves to face our fears and dig deeper into self-discovery. I'm no newbie. I've navigated many rocky roads and consider myself a recovered traumaholic. Life hasn't been easy, but I truly believe that everything happens for a cause greater than ourselves. Whether you're navigating with grief or grappling with trauma, healing from attachment injuries, or working on your marriage, we're here to unpack it all. No sugarcoating, just honest conversations about the struggles we face and the growth that comes from them. You matter, you are loved, even before your existence, and you're created to do great things. So grab a seat, my friend, take a long, deep breath, and let's get real together. So let's begin. Welcome to Soul Conversations with Z, Healing in the Raw. And today we have a very, very special guest. Actually, is one of my favorite guests ever since we started this podcast. And it's no other but my hubby. Want to tell them your name?
How you doing? My name is Antonio Rodriguez.
Antonio, yeah. So this is my hubby. And today we're just doing something really laid back, very special. We're actually opening up the doors to our home. We're actually in the basement. And we decided to just do something really laid back. As you can see, I'm not dressed up or anything. We're not in the office. And we just wanted to do something that you guys could actually learn a little bit about us. Learn a little bit about marriage, some of the things that we were never told about marriage. And we kind of want to share those with you guys, and just so you could see and learn a little bit about our journey, because it hasn't been the easiest journey.
Yes.
You would say. So I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself, and then we can begin.
Okay.
And real quick, this is not scripted, people. We did not plan what we're going to talk about. We're kind of like just winging it. So we're going to ask our audience if you guys could wing it with us as well, because we want to keep it just really honest and transparent. Hope that's okay.
She just told me, come on, let's do this.
You know what? You were sick, though. We were supposed to record last week, and you got sick. So we do have to say that we did have it planned, but sometimes things that are not planned, and that's how life is, right? That's how marriage is.
It happens. Sometimes when good things want to come out, always the enemy wants to try to do something to stop it. But God always brings time. So okay. Well, I do flooring. I was 4 years. It's a college in New York. It's a construction college. And my title is flooring. And my hobbies are music. I love to listen to music, instruments, congas, maracas, sit, campana, bongo. Those are my.
We had a whole orchestra up in here.
That's my thing. But my main thing is the Bible. I love to read the Bible. It shows me a lot, gives me a lot of way of thinking, make you see a lot of things, what's going on in life. And at the same time, it talks to me. Sometimes I'm thinking of something and it puts me to think.
So. Okay. So I'm not going to bore you guys with who I am, because you kind of already know who I am. But some of the things that I also enjoy, I definitely enjoy self-care. I love having fun. I always say I'm going to be a 95-year-old little girl running around the streets on the swings and just having fun. I do believe that, sometimes as adults, we take life so serious. And I just love laughing. I love laughing. I love also spending time with my hubby and also with my family, my kids. But I just enjoy, just life. I think when you've been through so many things that we have been through, I think life, you just look at it so different, and your relationship with God just becomes just so real. And we've been through so many different things, and that's what today is about. Today is about just sharing. So we always go back and forth as far as, how we met. And Antonio has his version. I have my version. But because he's a special guest, I'm going to let him tell his version and we'll see how this goes. So so you can go ahead and share how we met and all that cool stuff.
Okay. Well, I know it was my one of my good friends, and he came to me and he said, "Hey, my girlfriend's cousin came from Panama, and she's there, so I want to introduce you to her." I'm like, "Of course, let's go." It was a person that New York never sleep, so it was probably like around maybe 10:30. So when I got there, and I guess I'm waiting for her to come out, and then I saw somebody just kind of stick out. "Hi, my name is Sashi," and then turn back and go to sleep. I'm like, "Why are you bringing me here for this?" So I'm like, I took my time to come over here, and on those times I didn't used to chase women. So
In other words, he had a lot of mamacitas chasing him.
it was the opposite on that time. So I I kind of like, well, I see this young lady here. She's challenging me. So okay, time went by, and started talking to her, and she kind of touched me.
I kind of touch him. I don't know what that means, but
Well, the truth is, the first day that I saw her, it caught my attention, and it was because the way she was dressed.
but, but here's the thing. Let me just explain to the audience, right? Because some of you guys are not seeing us, so you guys are just hearing us on this podcast. So I was in this I had on a green Minnie Mouse pajama dress. And, back then I would put rollers in my hair and I put my rollers on because they told me he was coming at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock p.m. This dude shows up. It was like 11 p.m. at night. Okay. My daddy did not raise me to be meeting no type of dude at no 11 p.m. Okay. So he says the city that never sleeps. I'm not used to that, right? I was very covered, very sheltered. Um, so yeah, that for me, that did not fly well. So my cousin comes, wakes me up, and she says, Sashida, um, Tony's here. So I looked at the time. I said, she has got to be kidding me. And she's like, yeah, come outside so you can meet him. So I did. I did exactly. Didn't I do exactly that, puppy? I did.
Yeah, you came out.
Yes, I came out. But guess what? I came out exactly the way that I was. I came out. I was in my pajamas, my green little Minnie Mouse pajamas,
And
which
I
you
love
loved.
it.
Yep, there you go. You loved it. And on top of that, I also came out with my rollers.
And that was a top for me. I love that.
You never had a girl that gave you a challenge, though. And I literally put my head out. I went to the living room. I peeped. I said, hello, my name is Sashida. Good night. And I think about that today, but I think that was one of the things that, like how you said, like you enjoyed, right? And you liked about me. But I think that you also had a lot of different girls that were after you, and you were this puppy chulo. And I guess none of them gave you a run for your money. So here comes Sashida. And I was just a little ball of firecracker. And that was the challenge. And one of the things that you guys could know, Antonia said to me when I was leaving, because then we started becoming friends. And I was traveling back and forth to Miami at the time. And I remember him saying to me, if you ever come back to New York, you're going to be my wife. And I was like, this dude is insane.
I was supposed to say that.
Okay, so you want to share that with
You already
them?
said it.
Okay. So, and that was one of the things, right, that you and we started talking and we started pretty much, we were just friends. We were just friends. But, I also, at the beginning, I didn't like him because I thought he was really cocky. And yeah, I thought you were very cocky. I just thought that you thought you were like all that.
I was not cocky. I was just,
Puppy, yes,
well, I had a lot of friends, and my house was always open since high school. I was like that. We used to have, parties at my house, hooky parties.
Ooh, hooky parties.
That So my house
See, I
always
wasn't
was
about that
open.
life.
I used to be a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
First was rap, then went to reggae, and then after that went to Spanish. So I went through all the DJ music.
Mm-hmm.
So my house was always open. So I had a lot of friends. So to me, that was not a problem. And I like French. I'm a person that I'm a very French friend. I like to have a lot of friends. So that's why I knew a lot of girls. And then the way I used to be, I always love to treat, humans right. So well, she came, and I guess I got to give her an extra better treatment. She
So
called
more
my
attention.
yeah, of course, more than attention.
So, the journey began, and then, Tony and I began, dating and stuff. And, he was very supportive, especially because I was new in the US, and I had, returned back to the US, and he was always there for me. And, it so happened that, we weren't serving God at the time, and I got pregnant and we got married.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I feel that God do His things in His way, and sometimes when or not sometimes when we do certain things in the wrong way, and when we're looking for God, we search for God, He turns it to a good way. So I know that we passed a lot, but before we got married and before when we was together, I mean, I think we both gave each other words. We both talked to each other, and that it kind of make us feel and fall for each other, because for what you used to tell me and what I used to tell you, we kind of always used to be together. Used to go out, and it was to me, it was very important that the way my wife was with me, the way she was with me, the way she used to talk to me, it called too much attention to me that.
I was actually his counselor. I would tell him, hey, you shouldn't be, going out with all these, different ladies and doing, all these different things. And, it was just a friendship. And then, after that, when we built and, when we got married, then that's when pretty much everything started.
Right.
Right. So here we are, two broken children, I would say,
Hmm.
with a lot of trauma,
Right.
we came from broken homes. I came from a broken home. You came from a broken home.
Right.
Our parents, were not together. And, we really did not know what life, looked like. And we didn't have anyone, to pretty
Right.
much kind of tell us about life and have like a mentor or someone really guiding us to tell us about, what a true marriage looks like, and that was tough. That was very, very tough. And, I know that when we got together, we were kind of like winging it, like how we are right now, right down here. And it was rough. It was really, really rough. And one of the things that I remember, and that's one of the tragedies, is when we actually had that car accident,
Right.
leaving the baby shower. So
Right.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
sure.
how
But
that
even
was.
before that, I just wanted to mention that, I know how I was. I was kind of still more looking at, hey, fun. My mind was not yet too much as, okay, let's start putting things together. No, hey, we together. Hey, we young. Let's have fun. Even still, she was pregnant, but I still like, hey, we can still have fun. But the time started when kind of start changing mine is when the accident happened. It's like, I don't know, like something happened that it like if I look at it now, like if it want to destroy our marriage.
Yeah, from the beginning, it was like something was like it felt like an attack from the beginning, and just so you guys could get a little bit of background, and I guess I'll share about the accident.
Yeah,
I was 8 months pregnant at the
and I'm
time.
sorry. I think it was better. It's for you better to explain it because you're the one who actually kind of went through the big part there.
Yeah,
So
and it was my baby shower, the night of my baby shower, and we were about to go home because I wasn't feeling well. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So we had a relative that he actually took us home. So we're young, stupid, and we have the back of the seat full of gifts, right?
yeah,
And I am sitting where? It's
on
even
my lap, it
embarrassing
was a
to say.
two door
Was it
car.
a two-door
It was
car?
a two-door car.
I don't even remember
Yeah, it was a
that.
two-door car, and you were sitting up in my lap. No
Seatbelt.
seatbelt on.
We were stupid and dumb and young. And I can't even believe we did that. And our family member, so he's driving us home. And I remember going through, there was a light coming up, and all of a sudden the light turns yellow. And the first thing I thought, oh my gosh, I hope he stops.
Mm-hmm.
And he went through that red light and he accelerated. And all I remember thinking, I hope a car does not come.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened?
The car came out, and actually, I was thinking in the same way. I
Yeah.
said the same thing. Oh no! Sometimes you want to say something, but it doesn't come out of your mouth, and then it happens what you said. Well, that's what happened. The car just show up.
Yeah. And my understanding is that my face went through the windshield
Mm.
and the car literally flipped over a few times. And all I could remember is you dragging me out from the driver's seat. And the person that was driving, he literally looked at me. And I know that you said, well, you were the one that said that my eye and my
Yeah,
forehead was kind of,
yeah. I know that day when I took you out, and because I'm a person that when is the situation is on, I'm very calm. I look, I try to make everything be in the right place. So when I took you out and it was on the floor, and I looked at your eyes, I look at your eye, I'm like, oh wow, I thought that you lost your eye, and I said to you,
yeah, and they thought that as
hey,
well.
I don't care if you lost an eye, I still love you with one eye. But what kind of got me real bad that I didn't like, I was like, it's when because you was unconscious, and
Yeah.
then you kind of made a move to your left, to your right, and when you did like that, I saw this line that split in your forehead that looked white. I'm like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
thought that something went through there, and
Yeah. And my forehead actually was completely open. I had to get 100 and something stitches. I have stitches in the back of my head, hair, just a lot. I have a huge scar that goes all the way from here, which is still numb till today, all the way back here. Have many cuts in the back of my head, and I broke my arm in two. My neck was injured. I also have stitches under my eye, and I'm a living testimony. I have to say, I was pregnant with our first son, Anthony, at the time, and I remember the nurses saying, like, "Oh my gosh, like he's a miracle baby," because they could not believe that I had survived that. And that's when pretty much life hit us, and
yeah,
we went through so much, and it's just so much to go into, and unfortunately, we don't have so much time to go into it, but we want to give you guys kind of like a little
mm-hmm,
synopsis of what we've been through. And that car accident was such, it was a miracle that, I survived that as well as Anthony at the time.
mm-hmm,
But it was like such a devastation, like the recovery process
right,
and just mentally knowing that our family member, and that's another thing, he just left us there. So knowing that, I'm pregnant, I don't know if we're going to get through this. And
Right.
thankfully, we survived that. But it came with a lot of challenges physically, mentally, emotionally. And we were, again, trying to figure out life. And that's why it's so important for those that are listening to understand that marriage is like you making a decision every single day to choose each other.
Right.
And even though it's good, it's bad, it's ugly, it's beautiful, it's like you choosing. Because I'm telling you, there were days, and there's still days, that I wake up and I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like you. I love you, but I don't like you today.
Anytime she say that, I love her more.
and it has been a roller coaster, and we've taken some dips, and throughout that process is, one of the things that you were sharing is that, I came more structured, and Tony was more like the DJ and the wildlife. And as
Right.
girls, we like the bad guy. He was bad in the sense that he just had this puppy chulo, thing about him, and I like that, about him. But I also liked his heart, and I fell in love with your heart. That was one of the things that I have to say, that I fell in love with your heart as far as like how you love. And I always say this, that I've never met a person that loves the way that you love. And I know I tell you that all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you want
Makes
to
me
add
feel
to
proud
that?
of that. Make me feel proud of that. No, I know we have a lot that we can say about our marriage just by talking about the accident. And I feel that when that happened, I feel that that was the time that our lines changed.
In which way do you think
In
that?
which way? Because
Yeah.
and remember, we wasn't married yet when,
You mean with the accident?
yeah, we
No,
wasn't
we
married.
were
I'm
married.
sorry, we was married.
Yeah, we got married when I was
We
five
got
months.
exact. There we go.
That's 33 years,
See, getting confused. But what I was trying to say here is that we together and the enemy want to destroy our marriage. So now I look at it, and all these years went by, and you see how everything was happening with the accident, how much you were suffering, that Posse has to come as your stepmother, that she came and you couldn't even make no movement. She was helping you.
I couldn't even shower.
She came for how many months she did?
6 months. She stayed with me for 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
She was here helping you, and that is a bless from God. And it was a big change. And little by little, I really thank God because how you stand up and you did it.
But it was hard. It wasn't easy, and even financially, we struggled financially. Yeah. We were living in a basement, and that's so funny that we're in a basement now, right?
Right.
But we had nothing. We didn't have furniture. We had we had a mattress.
A mattress.
But that mattress wasn't even ours.
That's true. It belongs to the lady that owned the house.
It did. It belonged to the owner of the house. But you know what? I think it allowed us to really appreciate where we are today.
Yeah, I look at it as we was first in the basement, and then we moved to the apartment that it was where my mother used, where she lives in that building. And then from there, then we moved to another building that was actually bigger.
And little by little, we started. But I think it's such a blessing just to see like where the different seasons, right, that we've gone through. And I guess for you, I want to ask you, like, what season do you think has been like the hardest for you in our marriage?
In our marriage, well, of course, I feel that the hardest thing for us is when our son passed away.
Yeah.
I feel that that was a big change that happened.
Yeah.
because, everybody has a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of put my mind in a different level, in a different way, that kind of like we was getting, everyone was separated. And I
Yeah.
feel that did a big, I want to use the right word, but it did a big change in
Do
our
you think
relationship.
change for good or change for bad?
Well, for something like that, on that time, it was for something bad because my part, like I was not with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel that I did a mistake there because I should have been more with my family. But since when that happened, we when if somebody went through what we went, they will understand. Sometimes you go through something that you can't explain because you don't understand and you can't believe, hey, I lost a son.
Yeah.
And it's so different. Even still, it feels like if it was yesterday.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
And I think the feeling will always be there. And I would agree with you that out of everything has been like the roughest and toughest season of our life because we've been through like the brokenness, the generational cycles that we've been through,
Right.
Grief. We've been through so many different things. But I think that, yeah, that has been, the toughest season. And we had to learn how to choose us
Right.
every single day because that was a part in our marriage, puppy, that it was just like, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done with this marriage. You're not here. You're not showing up for us. You're not showing up for our family. And it was horrible. It was horrible because I missed us.
Mm-hmm.
I missed our family. I missed Anthony.
Right.
And it was tough.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it and you see Sashi, Mickey, that those are our two kids. And my daughter, that was before marrying with my wife. So I look at them and it kind of like, wow, it touches me. And sometimes you don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
And
So do you think that as a man, like, can you speak a little bit about that? Like, how was that? And I don't even, we haven't really spoken about this. I don't even believe that we're going in this direction, but
right.
I don't know, as a man, like, how was that for you?
Well, as a man, now looking at it, I feel that I should have been more with the family. But once again, on that moment, I don't know, I didn't have my strength. I don't know if it was the strength. I was just lost.
Yeah.
So on that point, I feel that I should have been with my family, more with my family.
Yeah. And just to give you guys just a little bit of background, it's kind of like Tony kind of like disconnected, right? Like I remember you would just leave. He would just leave and just disappear for hours. And, sometimes he would be at the overpass, sitting by the water, on exit 56. And it was a moment in our lives, very, very trying. And I really thought that we would not be here today doing this podcast 8 years later,
Right.
and we could look back now. And one of the things that we always say, but God,
Right.
but God. And He's the one that has kept us together.
And you said something, and like you said, we'd say things that we didn't even talk before. And you just said that I just like kind of just go and sit down outside. So just by saying that, it kind of like made me feel bad now. Even still that's past, it hurts because I should have been with my family. But it's like I wanted to just be alone.
Yeah.
So when I'm hearing you saying that, it kind of like make me feel like, man, I wish I can bring those days back, but you can't bring it back.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really hard to say that. So when you said it, I was like, ah, that's it, you know, because it's kind of hard to say it because it made me feel bad that I was not there with the family.
Yeah. I mean, we could always erase it and take it off camera.
No, probably not. Why are we going to take that off? I
Okay.
mean, I know I'm not the only one who went through something like this.
Okay.
And if they did, you know, they will understand me. But everybody made mistakes, and there are bigger mistakes than what I did, and maybe other guys have done the same thing. And
Yeah.
you know, I will understand that.
So
What counts is that we are together, and our kids, you know, be together. And I feel that we have a yes, every family goes up and down, but I feel we good.
yeah. Now, like when we look back, right? But I think that even before Anthony's passing, I have to say that, you know, the relationship, it was we've always had fun together. We've always been, I think, because of the fact that we grew together, so been running through amusement parks and just running through, you know, and jumping on the roller coasters with the kids, right? So I remember people would look at us and they'll be like, wow, you guys look like kids together. So that's one of the memories that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that even though we're very different, right? We're very, very different. Would you agree or not?
Well, I mean, we got so many things that it matches. Like, I mean, I'm a person that I'm a challenge person. I like, hey, okay, we got to do this. Okay, well, we got to make it. If there's something
Okay.
tough, okay, let's go.
We're more like determined.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I agree. But I think that we're also very different, even our cups, right? I like tea. Tony likes coffee. He likes
Well, cold
his
drink.
his cold drinks. I like my warm drinks. He likes his old time salsa music. I like my Jerry Rivera music and you know those type of like
That's
old
old music too, Jerry
salsa,
Bear.
but not like you like old
Oh, well, mine is from
salsa.
the 70s.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm like with my Jerry Rivera and stuff like that. So, you know, we're different in that sense. You know, even in a lot of different other areas, we're very different. You know, I'm the pursuer. I need to talk and let's talk about it because we got to fix it. And it must be hard married to a therapist too, right? Because we have to like analyze and kind of understand each other and understand our emotions and feelings and where that stuff is coming from. And Tony is more like the withdrawer. Like he's the turtle. I'm the energizer bunny. However, I have to say, that you do follow me, Antonio, in my craziness, though, right? So I'll be like, hey, I get this like idea, and I'm like, what do you think about it? He's like, yes, just do it. And that's one of the things that I truly appreciate about the years that we've been married is that you have been one of my biggest supporters. You have been one of my biggest cheerleaders. He looks at me and believes in me bigger than what I believe in myself. And that's one thing that I so appreciate, you know, about you. But in the same sense that, you know, I appreciate these things, you know, we're very passionate people too. So we've had to learn how to communicate, how to talk to each other, and understanding that his trauma and my trauma, I'm not here to fix his trauma. He's not here to fix my trauma. However, with the tools that we've learned throughout the years, we can help each other heal. And I think that's some of the mistakes, right? That,
Right.
couples come into marriages is that they
Mm-hmm.
feel that, the other person has to fix them,
Right.
heal them. I mean, I'm speaking on my experience because I always say, for those that know me, I always said that I thought you were going to come in on a white horse and you were going to rescue me and you were supposed to make it all well. And when you didn't do that, I would get so angry because then I started to feel abandoned, right? Because that was one of the issues that I came
Right.
into this relationship with. And I felt that you needed to fix it. You were supposed to fix it.
And I thought I was going to fix it.
But when you didn't, then I started feeling very disappointed and hurt and alone. But I wasn't able to verbalize that at the time.
Correct. I mean, I feel that, there is a lot of things that, but on time, I was changing and this, vice versa. And there are things that actually help us. That is when we kind of went more in the things of God.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one thing that I wish we would have had, it was somebody to guide us.
Yep.
And now when you look at it as, hey, everybody think that some people think that it's not good, but it is good when you go to therapy
Oh,
and
yeah.
you receive a pre-marriage.
Yeah, pre-marriage is so important.
Mm-hmm.
But Puppy, we went through a lot of different, like, counselors. To our counselors out there, if you guys are listening to us, listen, we're still married, we're still together. Yo, we went through a lot because they couldn't handle us. we were a hot mess.
Oh,
and hopefully, another time we'll come back on and we'll talk a little bit more about maybe specific topics. But we were a hot mess. And I remember one of our therapists, he just looked at us and he was like, what do you do when she, like does this? What do you? And it was just like,
I don't like him because he was too slow. he was too like, well, no. If you're talking to a couple or family,
we need it.
You want to hear, you got to be okay. Okay, what is this? What is that? No, well, okay, well, you have to.
He could not handle us because you know what? We were a hot mess. So
yes.
Listen, we came with a lot of trauma. You came with a lot of trauma. I came with a lot of trauma.
Right.
And it was insane. Like I think about like our arguments and I have to say, only but God. And during these 33 years, Puppy, we have learned so much. So I want to give the audience, some of that before we wrap up.
Right.
But what are some of the things that you could, share with the audience as far as like some of the things that you've learned about marriage?
Well, one of the things that I learned about marriage is that unity.
Mm-hmm.
Unity gives your family a structure. Is the right word, right?
Mm-hmm. Structure. Mm-hmm.
And when you have that and you have the unity, it's like if a seed started bringing up and then you see the tree coming out and then you see the fruit that's coming out. When you have that, the right word I want to say is together, that you together. Communication is very important.
Yeah.
So all of that is on that. All of that comes with that tree. The communication, the passing time together.
Yeah, that's important. That's very important.
That is something that doesn't matter how old you are in your marriage, pass time together.
And I think it's more about dating, right? Because
correct.
The dating is so important. Like people forget to date and we become so, it's kind of like everything becomes so normal and ordinary and boring.
Yeah, that's one thing that kills the relationship.
Yeah, it's like people become so boring and we like having fun. Like we like, at least in a week, once a week, we try our best to do like date nights
And it doesn't have to be nothing crazy.
Correct.
We'll watch a movie. I love popcorn from the movie theater. So he'll go buy me popcorn from the
Yeah.
movie theater. And we go to this place to buy these chicken wings because I love chicken wings. And we'll have that. And that'll just be a Friday night, you
That's right.
know? Yeah, right? And we have fun,
No,
right?
yeah, it's fun. You don't have to kind of be all the time outside
Yeah,
because, I mean, of course, we gotta save money because you want to do other things.
yeah.
But it is good when you pass time with your spouse that you just whether she cook or whether I cook. I mean, I love cooking.
Yeah, he doesn't. He cooks well.
So, but I mean, it's good when you have that, when you pass the time. It can be something very small. And like, I love to hear when she talks and when okay, I'm doing this, but she loves to do things.
I get
So
excited.
I love
I
to hear
always
when
have
she's
these
coming.
downloads
Yeah,
and I
she
get excited over them.
she comes from work. You know something? I love to see when she comes with that happiness because when she comes, sometimes I see, okay, something is going on.
Yeah, he'll ask me like what happened. I'll be like, I just need to be in silence. And I think that's important, right? Like allowing each other to have also their space and being respectful of it and not taking offense or personalizing it. There are times that I remember just recently, I remember coming from work and I had such a heavy day. And when I came, I was driving and I was like, Antonio, I can't speak right now. I just need to be in complete silence. And you even said to me, like, I'll stay on the phone with you and I'll be quiet. And I was like, no, I just need to have my space. I just need to be in silence. I'm going to hang up the phone. And you allowed that,
Right.
but that's come a long way because of the fact that we were so broken, we would take offense to every single thing that the other person did. And we had to learn, and we're still learning how to be vulnerable with each other, how to feel safe with one another.
Right.
So I think it's so important and I wrote down a few things, as far as like different things, as far as I love what you said, as far as like spending time with one another, the unity and just being able to be present with one another. Cause that's the thing, like we enjoy being around
Hmm.
each other and having fun and being like, oh my gosh, let's do this and planning and
Right.
all that stuff. So I think that's so
Yeah.
important.
Communication. Communication is
Yeah.
big key on that. If we don't have the communication, then you won't actually have that fun, that understanding. Sometimes it's tough to kind of accept certain things when you are wrong because to you inside you're right, but you're
Yep.
not. And
Yeah.
that's why we have that communication because when you have the communication, then you kind of talk and then you be able to accept, okay, I was wrong here, or hey, no, you know why you was right. So, and then the good part is that after that get to be understand, then the good part comes back. Now the love. Oh,
And I think that can I and I think that's so important, right? Because when we talk about communication, it's like what level of communication are we talking about? And I think it's
mhm,
like really getting that your person gets you, like being able to understand each other and being able to, you know, validate the person when they're talking. Because guess what? I don't always agree with the stuff that he be telling me, and I'm sure you don't agree with all the stuff that I be telling you, right? And we
right.
know that. And do we argue? Absolutely, yes. We are great at arguing, but I do believe that our arguments are not like years
Right.
ago that they were insane, you know. So our repair, so when there is rupture, maybe that something happened even before we came down here, right? We were like, okay, we have to do this, we have to do that, da, da, da. And it was just a lot of moving pieces. So when there is rupture, the beautiful thing is that there can also be repair. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that when Christ came into our marriage, well, we allowed him to come into our
Hmm.
marriage, that's when we really started to understand
Right.
what covenant was versus just a commitment.
Right.
And that's so important for couples today. And if you're listening, it's so important because you mentioned
Hmm.
something that being able to have God in the middle of everything and going through
Hmm.
your pre marriage, sessions and stuff. That's so
Right.
important when you start life, correctly. And when you have mentors, if you are listening to this, we have a program called MMM, Marriages Mentoring Marriages. Reach out to us because it's something where we get older, seasoned, couples that have been doing marriage for many years, and that
Hmm.
can help you walk through the season, because it's not easy, and the enemy will come,
Right.
and he will, destroy you. And I think another thing, as far as like some of the things that it's important to do, is realize that he's not supposed to fix me and I am not supposed to fix him. However, I wish I could fix him in a lot of different ways, right? Because as females, sometimes we could be naggers.
The same thing over here. Don't put me on. Hey.
Yes, yes. I wish I could fix him, and I'm sure you could. You wish, right? There's some
Oh yeah.
things that you would want to fix about me, but one thing that I always appreciate, one of the things that you always say is that, and I'll let you say it. You when you say like love your wife,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
you always say that.
Anytime if I have a conversation or have a talk like we're doing right now, I have to make sure that I say love your wife today more than yesterday, because
Yeah,
yesterday was a past.
yeah,
Tomorrow, we don't know if we're going to make it, but this moment, you living it together with your wife, enjoy it. So we passing this time together, and I'm enjoying it
yeah,
because we are here. This is the moment that we can say, hey, I can talk to you, see you
yeah,
smiling. Even still, you can be going through something bad, but still, hey, pass the time and thank God that you are having that moment, because there are many other couples out there, their spouse who are not together, whether they lost them or is separated.
yeah,
So once you have your wife, husband, love them more today than yesterday.
yeah. I love that. And a few little things before we wrap up, but one thing that I would say, and you can chime in if you want, choosing each other every day is so so important.
Mhm.
Fighting fear, because sometimes we could get very very nasty and say things that you can't take back, and when you say stuff and you put it out there, it's hard to take that back, and being able to learn from the other person's pain
Right.
and understanding that pain is so important.
Something very hard to do is when you're going through that arguing. I love to call it disagreement,
Yeah,
but is to hold up and listen.
yeah,
That is very tough. But when you catch it, it gives a, it's like it brings your relationship to a different level, because you are able to listen
yeah,
to what the person is telling you, what your spouse is telling you,
yeah,
and then you hear it, you feel it, and you understand it, and then you can answer.
yeah. And I think one of the things that I want to add to that is forgiveness. We
Hmm.
have to choose to forgive, even though it feels that you don't deserve forgiveness.
Correct.
Because sometimes we can be like, well, you don't deserve for me to forgive you. And why should I forgive you? But if we go back to the word of God,
Hmm.
it says forgive 70 times 7.
Right.
And even though my heart may not feel like I want to forgive you in the moment, my heart will catch up because it's more intellectual. So me saying I forgive you because I know that that's what Christ wants
Hmm.
me to do does not mean that my heart at the moment, feels like, oh my gosh, I've forgiven you and I'm okay with it. And I think it's so important for us to know that forgiveness is a process,
Hmm.
but forgiveness also doesn't mean that it gives the other partner the right to
Right.
continue to do the things that they're doing. So, and forgiveness doesn't always mean restoration, also. And it depends on what season these couples are in, because there's a lot of abuse and everything else going on. But we're not going to get into that today. But I just wanted to share those things with you guys, and also the don'ts, right? So, we have to make sure that we don't weaponize past mistakes.
Right.
Because we bring it up and we bring it up and we bring it up. Because remember back in 2000 and da 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 da, or 1990 this, you did da 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 da, or 19. Yeah, it just becomes.
And they put more weight on the arguing that you're having with that.
Yes.
Space power. More weight for something that's already passed.
Yeah.
So, and one more thing that you were saying there, that is the forgive.
Yeah.
That is very strong. And I wanted to go back to that because, like, if you know the Heavenly Father, and it's a part there that if you really sit down and you read it and you think about it, when it says, forgive me
my trespasses as we forgive. Yeah.
So that means then if I want him to forgive me, well, my wife, she did this to me, so I'm not forgiving her. Yeah. So then God is going to say, well, you want me to forgive you, but you don't forget your wife for doing this, or vice versa. So that is very powerful.
Yeah, and it's hard, but it's so important to do that in a relationship. And the other thing is that, sometimes also, in addition to the forgiveness, as a result of that, then couples, they emotionally shut down. And now there's a disengagement. You're not connecting, you're not talking, and all of a sudden now there's a bigger wedge. So there's lack of forgiveness, there's a bigger wedge, there's disconnection. And then what ends up happening too is that people bring outsiders into private matters. That's a big no-no. Unless there's someone that is your therapist, or someone that is a really close confidant, someone spiritual that that has your best interest. You should not be going out there throwing out your dirty laundry with your girlfriends, and guys just going out there and just commenting on it, because if they're not for you, then they're not the right people. So that's just so important. Another thing is that we can't expect, your spouse to heal wounds that they really didn't create. They're there to support you. And through this process of being able to emotionally connect, the healing will start. But we cannot expect for them to know offhand, what has happened. And I think the last thing for me that I would want to say is that don't stop having fun.
Yeah.
Right? I think, I mean, I don't know, like, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think that keep you younger.
Yeah.
I think that keep you, because if you're not doing it, your body, you kind of like, you don't want to do a lot of things. And then little by little, it's killing your brain, it's killing your things, your way of having fun. But when you have fun, you always want to move. You're happy. Oh, let's jump to do this. You know how you always come, hey, let's do this. And then you get me excited.
I'm the creator.
Let's do this. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I come and I say, hey, let's do this over here.
I'm very spontaneous. If you guys do not know, you might have already learned that about me. But But I just want to ask you, like, one thing as we are closing, like, what would you share with the audience and our listeners today in terms of, like, if they're in a hard season, like, what's one advice that you could give them?
Well, one advice that I would give them if they're going into a hard season, first of all, is put yourself with God. Pray yourself with God, and look for somebody, look for therapy, look for somebody that you can go and talk to that will actually open up your vision and so you can understand, because you might be, since you're going through something, you can't think, and you need somebody to open yourself up so you can kind of feel free. But if you don't have it, you're going to have that inside of you. And that's why sometimes you want to know why a relationship just explode, but it's because it doesn't have, you don't let it out. And
Yeah.
you need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. So, listeners, if you're in a hard season, my biggest advice would be definitely seek God first, right? Seek first the kingdom of God. Make sure that God is in the center of your marriage, and definitely find help if that's needed, which because of the fact, of course, I'm biased, so I feel that everyone should be in therapy, even if you're doing maintenance therapy. We are actually still in therapy. We do maintenance therapy, and that's what has held us, apart from God, together. So definitely that is so important. And just continue to do life together and continue to choose each other every single day. So that's all that we have for you guys today. I know that we could go on and just share 35 years of knowing each other, 33 years of choosing us every
Right.
single day. And I look forward to another 30, 40, 50 years together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that here it was just something just spontaneous. Just let's sit down and let's do this. Because in reality, if we sit down and we really bring our relationship, this it'll turn in a different way. The only biggest thing here that we mention is our son. But if we really come and then we mention all the things that we went through in our relationship, money, separating. So it's a lot. So one day, another time that you choose your husband to come and sit down, I feel that we will now kind of
go into
more into details. Here we just did it as let's just be together.
Yeah, and we wanted to celebrate with you guys 33 years of choosing us every single day, choosing to stay married, choosing the hard moments, the rocky moments, the moments that shook our core, and just being able to say yes every single day in the good and the bad and the ugly in all those different seasons of our lives. And we're just so grateful to God that He saw it fit for us to do life together. And we're just so thankful for that. So, to our listeners, thank you so much for being part of our celebration of our 33 years of marriage. And we hope to be able to bring you guys more, more of Antonio. And if you guys like this episode, definitely please subscribe. Please, we would love to hear from each one of you guys. And this is Zachyra Rodriguez, Soul Conversations with Z, Healing in the Raw. Thank you. You did it.